What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're unboxing the 14-inch MacBook Pro. Finally got mine in the mail after a couple of weeks of waiting. Now I am extremely excited for this because this MacBook Pro really is a return to form for the MacBook Pro. The previous generation was kind of a train wreck in multiple ways, and this new generation with the 14-inch and new 16-inch as well, they pretty much undid or fixed all of the sins that were committed on the previous model. And it kind of went back to the Retina display MacBook in some ways, which is what I have over there. So anyway, I am very excited for this one. We have our some of our favorite ports back. We have a new display with ProMotion. We have a new, more functionality-oriented design. It's a great computer. We now have a new robust thermal system, so this thing's not going to thermal throttle like older MacBooks used to. It's just a really nice package, so I am really excited to get into this. As you can see on the box here, we have a silhouette, or I guess a depiction of the computer here. And yes, this computer does actually have a notch in the display, which is of course not my preference, but that's really my only dislike with this whole computer, and because the rest of it is so good, I was willing to overlook that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the box. Now, as you can see here, we have the, of course, this is the Apple M1 Pro SoC, but this is the 10-core CPU, 14-core GPU model. I opted for 32 gigabytes of RAM instead of 16, just because, you know, I felt that was something that should have been done. We have 512 gigs of RAM, and that is about it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and open the plastic and get into this thing. So, let's go ahead and tear this off. I see. It's on the top. Now, I did hear that Apple was going to be getting rid of this outer plastic wrapping, but I guess they haven't got to that point yet. So, this is very familiar so far to lots of previous MacBooks. Let's go ahead and get the plastic off, and then we will open this baby up. Alright, let's go ahead and do it. I am really excited to see this thing because I've watched some videos, but I have never actually seen one in person yet. So that is about to change. So as you can see here, we have the computer. First thing I noticed right off the bat is the Apple logo on the back is far bigger than it used to be, so that's actually kind of cool. Let's go ahead and pull it out. Of course, this is the Space Gray model. I feel silver is just too freaking boring. Wow, okay. Now, this MacBook, of course, is a lot more squared off than the previous one, but it is the same overall thickness as the outgoing 13-inch M1 Pro and the older Intel model. So here we have that. I'm going to file that to the side for just a second because we now have a MagSafe charger back again, finally. This is really cool. I was not really a fan of them getting rid of MagSafe from the beginning. It was just a really kind of innovational feature that they came up with back in 2006. And when they went to USB-C, I mean, it was okay, but this is a lot better. And what's nice is now with the USB-C power adapter that they kept around, we now have a removable MagSafe cable instead of it being integrated into the brick like the older ones. So we're going to need this, so I'll go ahead and remove it from the packaging now. I am 100% certain that I will never be able to get this back in here, but that doesn't really matter at this point, I guess. So let's go ahead and unwrap this cable. Wow, this thing's in there pretty good. Go ahead and undo that. Pull it out. And something I'm also noticing, which is really cool, is that the cable is actually braided now, just like some of the cables and stuff that you get with the Mac Pro, which of course I have as well, as you can see. But kind of nice, kind of a neat touch. It kind of feels like the MacBook Pro is going back to being a Pro laptop again, which is really cool. And that's not super long actually, but it is a very nice feeling cable. So we're going to need that. Anyways, let's go ahead and file that to the side. What else do we get here? Here we have our little pamphlet, and I imagine that this is going to have kind of the same sort of stuff that we always get. So here we have a little quick start guide about the MacBook and some regulatory information. Wait a minute, I know there's Apple stickers in here. Okay, there we go. Oh, wow. So, I feel like I knew this, but I kind of forgot about it. Now, with the MacBook Pro, you get black Apple stickers, just like with the Mac Pro, the iMac Pro, Pro Display XDR, or whatever. So, that's super cool. We now get some black Apple stickers. you know, because it's a pro product. So that makes perfect sense. Anyways, let's go ahead and file that stuff to the side again. And we also just have our 96 watt USB-C power adapter. Now the base model MacBook Pros come with a 67 watt. And of course I opted for the 10 core, so I get the big boy power adapter. The 16-inch M1 Pro models all come with a 140 watt power adapter, which is just insane. But anyways, let's go ahead and pull this guy out if I can without ripping the wax paper. There we go. All right. So now that everything's out of the box, let's go ahead and move it out of the way and we'll fire up the laptop. As you can see, it's wrapped in this wax paper. That is a little bit different than previous models. Anyways, let's go and do the ceremonial peel. There she is. All right, there's the bottom of the laptop. We'll go ahead and take a look at it in some more detail once I get it out. Wow, okay, so this first thing right off the bat, this thing feels very substantial. This is quite a beefy machine in more ways than one. And it's really not as thick as people were making it out to be. Of course, again, like I said, this is the same overall thickness as the outgoing 13-inch. So this is still a pretty nice and portable computer. And I really, really like this design because the more squared off edges, but still with the rounded corners, is really giving me like old school first gen MacBook Pro vibes, and kind of mixed with the Retina display. So this is really kind of a throwback like design, and I really, really enjoy it. Going to the bottom, you can see we have this actually really nice embossed MacBook Pro on the bottom here. That looks really, really good, I gotta say. And these feet actually look a lot better than the ones that came on the previous gen. So that's pretty cool looking. Here we have two big vents on the side for cooling, and then on the sides, as you can see, we now have some ports again. So that's really nice. We got MagSafe, USB-C ports, a headphone jack, which of course pros love. We have an SD card slot. That's a big deal for me, of course, because I make YouTube videos. Really happy to see that back. Another USB-C, or Thunderbolt 4, I guess I should call it. And an HDMI. So this is actually really handy for connecting to TVs and stuff. I was out with my friends on vacation and we had a TV in the room and I couldn't plug my 13-inch in because it didn't have a freaking HDMI port. So it's really nice to see that back. Anyhow, let's stop rambling and go ahead and open this bad boy up and take a look at what she looks like on the inside. Now it's probably going to turn on right away because that's how all MacBooks are. Let's go ahead and open it up. There she goes. Let's go ahead and peel off the paper from the screen. And there it is, guys, the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. Now I'm really happy to see, or of course, know that this thing has the ProMotion 120 Hz display. That was a huge reason I bought it. My 13 Pro has completely spoiled me in that regard, and I've had to upgrade my monitors on the Mac Pro and everything else just to experience that. So as you can see, we have our display notch up here, so that is pretty much just the only thing I don't love about the design, but it's not that bad, and the menu bar is going to live in that area, so that's not terrible. As you can see down here, we now have a black keyboard surround, so that's a little bit different. I think it actually looks really good. Pretty much the same trackpad from the previous model. And yeah, I really like this design. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and set this up, which I'm not going to film because that's pretty boring, but I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will definitely have more videos on this lovely machine as time goes on. But with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.